We often hear that screen time is something we should all cut back on. But what if that advice misses the mark for older adults? Recent research suggests that regular online engagement can help slow brain aging and reduce the risk of dementia. That insight is reshaping how we think about aging and technology. And it's why today's guest is helping to lead a national effort to equip older adults with digital skills that promote connection, purpose, and mental flexibility. Welcome to the Aging Well podcast, where we explore the science, stories, and strategies behind living a longer, healthier, and more purposeful life. I am your host, Dr. Jeff Armstrong, an exercise physiologist with a passion for making science simple and life better as we age. My guest is Donna Epps, Chief Responsible Business Officer at Verizon. Verizon recently launched Older Adults Technology Services, or OATS, in partnership with AARP, and an 8-city national tour of 24 free in-person workshops designed to equip older adults with digital skills to get online confidently. This conversation will help you rethink the role of technology in aging and reveal how digital skills can support lifelong learning, social connection, and cognitive vitality on a path to aging well.
Sure, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this exciting work. So I am Verizon's Chief Responsible Business Officer. And what that means is, amongst other things, I have the privilege of leading initiatives that reflect values that are really close to the heart of our leadership. Values like advancing digital wellness and promoting digital inclusion and supporting human prosperity, all through the use of technology. So, as you might imagine, digital inclusion is super important to us because we are the premier broadband and wireless provider. And so connectivity is key. We all know that we are living in a digital world, in a digital economy, and we believe that technology is the great equalizer. It is empowering, and we want people to not only, first of all, get connected. So we've got to close the digital divide, but we've made a lot of good progress on that. So beyond getting just connected, how can people use technology in a way that will improve their lives? And how can we help people understand not just the relevance of technology, but how they can really use it to empower how they live, work, and play? So we have a very holistic view of digital inclusion. So it's not just getting connected, but it's leveraging that connection to help really improve economic opportunity and so many other ways. There was a study published last April by Jared Bengay and Michael Scullin, and it's entitled The Meta-Analysis of Technology Use in Cognitive Aging. And they observed people over 65, both the short-term and multi-year studies, a series of studies interacting daily with their devices. And what they found is that regular use of digital devices was linked to the risk of cognitive impairment declining by as much as 58%, which is, may be surprising because we hear so much about the negative impacts, and certainly those are real. And one of the reasons we wanted to focus on digital wellness, but there are also, immediate findings on the cognitive benefits from daily tech interaction. Especially with older adults. It promotes problem solving and ongoing learning. It encourages social connections and community building, and it provides challenges for stimulating memory and executive function. So, and I could just say in my own personal experience, I'm a caregiver for my 94-year-old father who now has dementia, but before he had dementia, just sort of maybe around 80 to 90, it really provided a lot of agency and independence, being able to use technology. So, for example, he and my mom were on a lot of meds in their later years, and there were constant trips up to the CVS to get medication. Well, as their mobility became more challenged, being able to have prescriptions delivered to the house is key, or groceries delivered home. It's key. These are not things that they grew up experiencing as a possibility. So sharing with them that no, we can do a lot, even with your limited mobility, is really a game changer. To say nothing about telemedicine and all of the other supports that technology enables. Yes. So we launched a digital wellness initiative earlier this year. And the premise of this initiative is that digital wellness is for everyone. And the challenges associated with excessive use, unbalanced use of technology is really multi-generational. Of course, we hear a lot about addiction to technology for young people, but we also recognize that parents trying to parent in a digital world, they have a lot of challenges. So it's not just the young people, but it's the parents who are trying to navigate parenting in this environment, and also older people. One, because they oftentimes lack the digital skills to really leverage the technology. Two, because they're often a target of cyber criminals. And so we wanted to create an initiative that was multi-generational. So we partnered with some fantastic nonprofit partners. OATS is our partner. As you said, they are an affiliate of AARP. They're our partner to help us with the older population. And our goal is to really, for everyone, to have increased the increased confidence and skills and understanding that they need to use technology in ways that support rather than sabotage their well-being. Well, first of all, with the senior population, the most important part of the workshops is we want folks to walk away understanding their devices and to have the skill set to be able to leverage them. And so classes range from beginner levels, like starting out very simple, like how do you send a text? How do you attach a photo to a text? How do you make a video call? To more advanced sessions, like how might you pair Bluetooth to your hearing aids or smartwatches? And we have the beauty of these in-person workshops, which, as you mentioned, are taking place in select Verizon retail stores and senior centers, is that you have a real live person there who can help you touch and feel and engage real time with concepts about how to sort of, for example, strategically identify phishing scams, or how to explain popular apps like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. And a lot of safety tips, like the importance of downloading apps only from your device's app store. But you'd be surprised. They're just real smartphone basics. That's the title of a course that really talks people through just the ABCs of a device. What's a built-in voice assistant? Where's the camera on the phone? Really basic to making the most of smart devices. And that's, again, how do we use apps to manage your life? Maybe it's managing home energy systems, or smart devices that will help with your health, the fitness trackers, or devices that send your vitals to your doctor. To, of course, there's safety courses, right? How to manage your privacy on your personal device and protect your personal information. The importance of not sharing private or sensitive information, that the awareness that there are AI deep fakes out there, that someone might call you and impersonate your grandchild, and how to, look out and spot a lot of these scams that are sadly becoming much more sophisticated with the use of AI. So even just bringing awareness to the fact that these exist and how to spot them is really critical. Exactly. That's exactly right. And honestly, it's not just older adults. I think it's a challenge for us all. And so education is key. I mean, we've got to become more literate in terms of what's possible and how to protect yourself in this, rapidly evolving technological space. I mean, the technology revolution is not slowing down. And so we all have to provide the sort of safety nets and support system to help the population, all of us, become more sophisticated and have a better understanding of the playing field. Well, we have a participant turned instructor at one of our Senior Planet locations. And Senior Planet is a senior center that OATS runs. They have a couple around the country. Her name is Wanda. She joined Senior Planet at 67, and she now is teaching workshops in Denver. She's helping seniors use technology just to kind of elevate their daily life. She's showing them how to set up auto pay on for bill pays, or how to plan a trip using AI powered chatbots, or how to join social groups to give them a better sense of community and purpose. And so she's gone from student to instructor, and she's really candid about crediting her tech skills for keeping her young at heart and informed. So she's really a perfect example of how an initial nudge towards technology, just putting a toe in the water, can lead to a lifelong trajectory of learning and connectivity and giving back to others to help really open their world through the use of technology. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, being able to utilize technology can really help older adults remain connected, have social connections via technology, and independent. We talked a little earlier about the independence. Those with limited mobility have at their disposal the ability to uh, carry on daily functions that they might otherwise have to rely on adult child or a caregiver to provide. So, but in terms of the connectivity too, right? We see folks being able to, see that grandchild across the country, or engage with an online Bible study, or whatever the social group might be that seniors want to participate in. There's usually a virtual option for everything from the Elks Club to local community groups and causes. So the connectivity piece, the social connectedness piece, is really important for older adults. Of course, there's no substitute for being in person, but when you have limited mobility issues, or you just may not be able to find community as easily as you once could when, for example, you were in the workforce, you have a built-in community. It's a way to help you identify folks with like interests and to engage with them. The other thing that I think we have to acknowledge is that there are about 1 million children in the US today that live with a grandparent as their primary caregiver. And so that shifting family dynamic means that it's essential for older adults and caregivers to fully understand the technology that children are using because they are now in the role of, parenting. So it's going to be difficult for them to enforce safety boundaries or even just to connect with the kids that they may be raising on a social level if they don't have some rudimentary understanding of technology. So those are some of the ways that I think, and reasons it's really important to get up the learning curve and help older adults get up that learning curve. And again, I just can't emphasize enough the importance of providing that safety net for older adults, given that they are, they're the most vulnerable to cybercrime. And so becoming digitally literate provides that safety net. And as a caregiver, I know that, the more digitally literate that my aging parents became, the more comfortable I was that they would not be, a victim of a deep fake scam. And also that, when they were still driving, learning Google Maps, they could actually get home or get to that new doctor's office or a new church that they were going to visit. So it's just really that added safety, but also independence. And I think that we and OATS hope that our workshops will give participants that same peace of mind. And our caregiver workshops give the caregivers peace of mind, knowing that their loved ones are going to be taught some, essential daily skills. So that's a little bit of insight on that. Yeah, well, first of all, I think one of the things I appreciate about OATS is that they're very patient um, with the older adult population. And they focus on teaching to the tech overwhelm point. What are some small but important functions that you might want to engage in that technology can help you with? So some that might be sort of nostalgic, like sharing scrapbooks or again, just having calls with loved ones where you can actually see that new grandchild. So really kind of contextualizing baby steps to kind of prevent the overwhelm. And I think the other thing is really showing how this technology can help improve your life. So the rise of banking apps, being able to just manage, if you have the cognitive function to manage your financial affairs, how you can do that effectively, even if you aren't going into the bank, for example. So I think that the OATS folks are just really do a great job of sort of balancing the utility of using technology with the combating the feeling of being overwhelmed or relying too much on technology. I think we should be looking at technology as a life enhancer. We at Verizon, in addition to the programmatic work that we're doing through our workshops on digital wellness, where we're teaching strategies on how to not just use technology, but use it in a way that will give you a healthy relationship with technology. We call it phone life balance. But those strategies, we also help people implement them by providing some tools. Some of them are free, some of them are paid through our Verizon Family app. But the whole idea here is that we've got to view technology as a tool. It's not a replacement, but it is an enhancer. So it's not a replacement for human engagement. And we do want people, again, to have that balance. So there are times you need to get away from a screen and be present in real life. And we want to help people understand how to put those boundaries on themselves and the young people in their lives. But at the same time, in order to have technology enhance your life, you've got to understand it enough to leverage the benefits and avoid the pitfalls with some of the cyber scams and the predators that that's a real thing. And so we've got to, just as with any new technology, learn how to use it safely and wisely so that we again are able to get the sort of enhancer effect and avoid the sort of the downsides and some of the distraction that can be unhelpful. Well, I think it's important. Number one, we certainly feel that we build great networks. So, thing one is let's make sure everyone has access to the actual physical network, and and the industry has done a great job of that. Most people in this country now have access to connectivity. The next, and I think more complex hurdle is how do we make sure people had the digital literacy and the sophistication to use the technology in a way that really optimizes the power of technology to empower their lives. And so that's about increasing adoption, particularly with older adults. That I've heard seniors in my life say, "Oh, I don't, that's for the young folks. I don't need that. It's too complicated, or I don't trust it. I don't want to put any, credit card information or anything." So the technology is here. It's here to stay. And so we very much feel that we have a responsibility, since we are delivering the connectivity, to help folks take the next couple steps of that learning curve, right? So the basics of how to use it, the basics on the use cases that will improve your life, but also some of the more sophisticated learnings about how to manage your mental health and how to protect your privacy and use it safely. So we very much feel this is an important role for us in particular to play. Our theme and ethos and really kind of corporate motto is we like to empower. Our goal is to empower how people live, work, and play. And you really cannot empower people if you just give them a powerful tool without the necessary training to give them the skills and the understanding and the savvy that they're going to need to use it wisely, to have a healthy relationship with this really incredible tool I'll call technology. Aging well to me means being able to continue to follow your purpose and follow your dreams and not feeling that, you are limited because of your age. Being able to stay engaged and connected. We've all seen the research that says that folks who have more social connections are healthier as they age. And I believe that technology has a real role to play in helping people identify like minded people or topics or issues that interest folks, and particularly after they retire, they have more time to engage in those hobbies or interests that they may not have had as much time to follow or pursue when they were working. And technology helps you, find out what's happening around issues that you're interested in and connect with like-minded people and just stay engaged and involved. And I think as we age, we all want to continue to pursue purpose, find meaning in life, and not feel or become irrelevant and socially isolated. And I do think that technology is a really powerful tool to help people to meet their own desires for living their best life. Um, well, I am trying to incorporate more movement into my life. I have a fairly heavy travel schedule, busy uh, life, like many professionals in corporate America. But I'm really trying to prioritize incorporating more exercise and movement. As I said, I'm a caregiver for my 94-year-old father. He did a ton of walking and still walks a lot every day. And he's in remarkably good shape. And a number of his doctors have attributed that to he probably walked over an hour every day between the ages of 60 and 80. And so I've seen, up close the benefits of staying active. And unlike me, he didn't have sort of a sedentary life or job. He was a United Methodist minister. So he was on the go a lot, visiting parishioners, in and out of, homes, hospitals, meetings. So just being into, his early 80s. So it's, I think, super important for me to be very intentional about prioritizing exercise and movement. We've read all the things we need to do. And so I think it is really, for me, about just doing it. My advice is to just gently nudge that loved one to use more tech, and to be a part of it so that you yourself can get more comfortable with what does it mean for them to use it. And again, I would urge you to have them focus on just those little steps that you know that they're going to enjoy and that you feel comfortable with them doing, like calling old friends or starting to share a photo album. Those are great places to start. So you're not, jumping into the deep end of the pool. You are starting with um, tasks that they would do in the analog world and helping them to transition those tasks to the digital world. So it's baby steps. And again, I think particularly for caregivers, questioning, should I encourage an aging parent to engage in technology? It is just one of the most powerful tools for social connection and information gathering, which will, can really enrich the lives of older adults that you are taking care of. So it really kind of can become a companion for you, caregiver, to help enrich those senior years for that aging parent. Well, they can come to our website, verizon.com/digital wellness, and there they will see the schedule of all of our workshops, and they can actually sign up for those workshops. And again, the workshops are varied. There are two options. One are more geared towards parents and caregivers, and then the second set are geared towards older adults and are taught in partnership with OATS. So there's just a wealth of information on our website. It is, in addition to information on the workshops, we have a lot of just literature and materials that will really, I think folks will find really helpful. Our goal was to try to create a little bit of a one-stop shop and bring all of the experts for the various generational challenges associated with digital wellness into one place to provide some baseline information, but then also to bring people into proximity with those experts so they could have one-on-one dialogue to get their unique questions and situations addressed in a more like personalized, customized way. So because everyone's situation is a little different, and so we're really excited about the ability to have those that one-to-one interaction and just to have a live person and a workshop who's an expert with experience to bounce questions off of. Yeah, I think the intersection with telehealth and wellness. So both my parents were diabetics and are diabetics, and the idea that rather than, for example, their doctor checking their blood sugar during monthly visits, that their blood sugar readings can be sent to their doctors every hour through wearable health monitors. That is just, I mean, the opportunity for the sharing of knowledge in a real time way. I think the power of that to improve healthcare, care regimens, health interventions is just really, really powerful. And it's something that previous generations just didn't have. And so I'm excited to see how technology is going to really contribute to what they call individualized or customized medicine. I think that we're just scratching the surface, and I'm super excited to be part of a wireless company because this information is transmitted wirelessly. And so when you really think about the power of wireless connectivity in so many different parts of the economy, it's staggering. But certainly in terms of the telehealth and healthcare and wellness fields, even before sickness, how do we manage our wellness by having more information sooner due to technology? I think is what excites me and leaves me quite hopeful. I would just ask the listeners to please spread the word. Again, there's a big focus on young people with social media addiction and the impact of technology on the mental health of young people. And I think not enough discussion about the power of technology to help older people and the need to make sure that, we see it, talk about the silver tsunami, more and more Americans will be in the older population. And so it's incredibly important that we ensure that that population is able to age well. And part of the prescription for doing that is, keeping up with and learning to use technology to help them and to help protect them from some of the dangers that can come along with ignorance of the technology. So please share spread the word about our initiative. And that is, I think, one of the most important things in general that, we don't do a bunch of advertisements about this. And so I would so appreciate you, Jeff, for taking the time to listen to us share about the work and for using your platform to help get this information out. And I would also say, check out the Verizon Family app. It's a free app. It has a lot of different tools on there, even for caregivers. There's a location, enhanced location safety app, a capability in the app. And if you go into a Verizon store, the reps can help you really unpack and explain the different characteristics of that app. And really, we call it Verizon Family because this is a multi-generational issue. So I would encourage your users to download it for free and, start using it. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for listening. I hope you benefited from today's podcast. And until next time, keep aging well.